Hello, everyone. Welcome to 321 Gang's webcast, Facilitating Essential Safe with Jira Align. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Kara Rawlings, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about 321 Gang. 321 Gang has many years of experience successfully deploying enterprise-scale development tooling and processes in support of software and cyber physical systems builders. In 2014, we launched our Safe Training and Transformation business and even contributed to the development of the framework. This combination of expertise makes our partnership with Atlassian a natural fit to help our clients accelerate the benefits of Agile at scale with a truly enterprise Agile planning tool like Jira Align. We focus specifically on software and systems engineering tools and processes. Today, we are hosting the second of our three-part series of webinars that will demonstrate how Jira Align facilitates pre-PI planning, and PI execution. I will be pasting the registration link for session 3 in the chat box. The first webinar is already posted on our website, so you can review that if you'd like. Please feel free to pass the links along to colleagues that might be interested. So now I'd like to introduce our presenter, 321 Gang's Peter Lackey. Peter is a senior solutions consultant here at the Gang. He is a Scrum Master and a Certified Safe Program Consultant and has Atlassian certifications in Jira and Jira Align. He received his master's degree in computer science from Purdue University. Peter began his professional career in IBM's Federal Systems Division as a programmer, where he concurrently worked as an adjunct associate professor at the State University of New York, Binghamton, teaching software engineering and publishing a number of papers on the subject. Upon moving to Canada, he became the technical manager of IBM's Rational Software development environment for Rational Canada. Peter has been involved in selling and supporting engineering tools and the processes supported by these tools throughout his career. These processes include topics such as Agile, MBSE, and SAFE. And now, Peter, it's time for you to take it away.
All right. Let's go ahead and start the second session here. Facilitating PI planning preparation with Jira Align. So if you have questions during the presentation, please enter them in the question box. We have left time at the end of the presentation to go through these questions. This is the Scaled Agile Framework SAFE, Essential Safe Big Picture. Essential Safe contains the minimal set of roles, events, and artifacts required to continuously deliver software and system solutions via the Agile release train as a team of Agile teams. The Agile release train, or ART, is the heart of Essential Safe. ARTs are virtual organizations formed to span functional boundaries, eliminate unnecessary handoffs and steps, and accelerate value delivery by implementing safe, lean, agile principles and practices. Program increments, PIs, and PI planning together are the heartbeat that powers the execution of the ART. As we just said, cadence-based PI planning meetings are the heartbeat of the Agile enterprise. So we have these meetings for 2 days, every 8 to 12 weeks. Everyone attends in person. Now that's if at all possible. And the purpose is to come out of the session with all the participants fully aligned on the objectives for the PI. They will also produce team plans for accomplishing the objectives and a program board that shows how it all fits together. Now, we must realize that none of this can happen without extensive preparation. So PI planning preparation is all about preparing the input as well as the teams and infrastructure. The PI planning preparation activities can be divided into 2 parts. Part 1, the vision to roadmap to features. This is all about providing the information needed to go into the planning session. The part 2 is program increment, sprints, and teams. Here we are providing the infrastructure required to go forward. We're going to go through each part showing how Jira Align can facilitate these PI planning preparation activities, starting with part 1, focusing on providing the necessary information. So in part 1, we will show how Jira Align facilitates the following activities: documenting the vision, using the vision to identify the epics and construct the epic roadmap, using the vision and the epic roadmap then to create the program and PI backlogs of features. The vision is the first major input to PI planning. The vision is a description of the future state of the solution under development. It reflects customer and stakeholder needs, as well as features proposed to meet those needs. The vision is used to identify epics and build the epic roadmap, and answers the questions: why this feature? Why not this feature? Agile team members, who will have to make thousands of decisions, will use the vision to help answer these why questions. Within Jira Align, the vision is an artifact with a title, description, and several priorities. So Jira Align does provide a way to capture the vision, but most programs record the vision in a document outside of Jira Align. Jira Align provides a way to capture a product vision, program vision, release vision, and an operational vision. Now, there is a new capability within Jira Align called a canvas. Some folks are using a canvas to capture the vision. Look at some of the fields of this portfolio canvas, like value propositions, process flows, and solutions. Now, there are a number of techniques for identifying epics from the vision. Some will use model-based system engineering to do this. This presentation does not talk about the identification of the epics, but how to create and manage them. This view is a grid view within Jira Align for creating and editing the epics. When you want to create a new epic, you click on the Add button, and a panel slides out that allows you to enter all the details of the epic. One of the fields that can be filled in for the epic is the lean business case. This is derived from the vision. Epics can be edited in a like manner. During preparation for PI planning, using the vision and the identified epics from the grid view, a roadmap of these epics is constructed. The roadmap shows where program epics fit on a timeline. For the upcoming PI, we select the epics that span the PI and identify the features, children of the epic, that need to be implemented during the current PI. Again, we go to the epic grid in Jira Align. We edit each one of the selected epics and add the child features in the panel. So you can see these features have been added to the particular epic, just in a panel here. Again, for the upcoming PI, we select the epics that span the upcoming PI and the identified features, children of the epic, that need to be implemented during the PI. These child features appear with their parent epics on the feature by epic view of the roadmap that we're seeing right here. The primary input into program planning is the feature or program backlog. There are actually two feature backlogs. One for all the features identified for the Agile release train, the unassigned backlog, and one for all of the features that have been identified for the current program increment. This is the PI backlog. The backlog tool in Jira Align allows you to assign features to the PI and prioritize or rank them using WSJF or some other method. From within the backlog, You can drag features from the unassigned backlog to the PI backlog and drag them to the right rank order. We are primarily concerned with prioritizing the features that have been allocated to the PI. That is to be planned. The teams working with their product owners choose the features that they are going to work on during the upcoming program increment from this backlog. Jira Align provides mechanisms for calculating weighted shortest job first, WSJF, and estimating the size of the features using various measurements. Again, this is primarily used on the PI backlog. Because features do not have to be exclusively owned by a single team, the feature/team association is driven by the stories derived from the feature. So each of the stories associated with a feature is owned by one and only one team. Therefore, the feature is associated with each of the teams that own one or more of these stories. So here we're seeing the stories that are associated with this particular feature. In this case, there's only one team that's associated with it. There are two stories here, and they are both owned by the same team. We could have another team owning a different story in here, and therefore the feature would be shared between those two teams. Let's go on to part 2. We will show how Jira Align facilitates the following infrastructure activities. First, creating a program increment, creating the iterations or sprints, and creating and populating teams. Now, even though we are referring to this as part 2, these activities will be performed before or simultaneously with the part 1 activities. So as you have seen, grid views are used within Jira Align to create and maintain all of the different objects. In this case, we are using a grid view for the program increments. To create a new program increment, we click the Add button. And the Creation or Edit panel slides out. We need to enter a value for each of the fields with an orange box and then click Save. Let's look at a PI that has already been created. Once you have saved a PI, 3 more tabs appear, allowing you to specify more information regarding the PI. One of those is the Sync Sprint tab that you'll see right up here. So we click on that. By entering the number of sprints, sprint duration, sprint prefix, a short name for the sprint, and the start date for the program increment, the anchor sprints, which you're seeing right here, are created. Now, if you are not syncing with Jira or Azure DevOps or one of these other team tools, then you can create and manage the actual sprints right here in Jira Align. But in most cases, the sprints are actually created in, say, Jira, and then they will be synced with Jira Align using these anchor sprints. Again, we are using a grid view in Jira Align to create and edit teams. Notice there are a number of different team types in the grid. In preparing for the first PI planning session, we are concerned primarily with Scrum and Kanban teams. So click on the Add button again. The new team panel slides out, allowing you to enter information about the team. Once we click on Save, more opportunities appear to add information relative to the new team, including 2 new tabs. So let's look at the Members tab. So here's the Members tab. So let's click the Members tab. Here we can select our team members from a list of Jira Align users. So we did that. And then we can go ahead to these users that we've selected for the team and assign them their team role. Now, the Scrum or Kanban teams are typically created as part of establishing an integration with the team tool, Jira or Azure DevOps, and the team membership flows automatically from the team tool. You would still assign team roles such as Scrum Master and Product Owner for each in Jira Align. But you, again, if we're not using the team tool, we can do this, but that's certainly not the recommended way. The recommended way is to use Jira Align in conjunction with one of these team tools. So, in conclusion, PI planning preparation is all about preparing the input information as well as the infrastructure for the upcoming PI planning session. We walk through each part showing how Jira Align can facilitate these PI planning activities, starting with part 1, where we showed documenting the vision, using the vision to identify the epics and construct the epic roadmap, using the vision and the epic roadmap to create the program and PI backlog of features. And then in part 2, we showed how Jira Align facilitates the following infrastructure activities: creating a program increment, creating the iterations or sprints, and creating and populating teams. So in summary, using the scaled agile framework, especially PI planning, is integral to being successful scaling agile to a team of teams. PI planning can be done in the old school way with flip charts, post-its, markers, and red yarn, but especially in this day of remote PI planning sessions, it is invaluable to have a tool to support the whole process, including PI planning preparation. Jira Align is that tool. So thank you so much for being part of the webinar, and let's take some time and go to the questions. Kara?
Okay, great, Peter. We have a few questions, so please feel free to type in the chat box and we will address your questions if you have any. So the first one, do I need Jira or can I work alone with Jira Align?
So I mentioned this early, that it is possible to only use Jira Align, and that was historically there was the original tool name was AgileCraft, and that was built such that you could do all the things, team up through portfolio planning and so forth, in one tool. But then when Atlassian bought Jira Align, which was and renamed it as Jira Align, then they wanted to use the power of Jira for the team level things. And so typically you want to use Jira in conjunction with Jira Align, or Jira Align in conjunction with Jira, and the two of these sync. And that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay. Next question. Have you found that most folks use WSJF to help with feature prioritization?
So we're seeing a variety of things with the teams that we approach. Some of the more formal teams, of course, will use WSJF in their prioritization, and again using it just on the features that are in a particular PI to see what the prioritization is within the PI. But then a number of people, number of organizations are not opting to do that, and are just will rearrange things or sort of do things by feel and so forth, or the loudest person first, or however that goes. But anyways, we're seeing both.
Okay, next question. Would product managers use Jira Align directly, or is this a tool for managing and tracking work by development teams only?
Okay, so in the courses where we talk about using Jira Align for an art and the teams in the art, so sort of the program level and the team level, what we do is we suggest mainly the product owners, the scrum masters, they're going to be folks that are both in Jira Align and Jira. The regular development team will spend almost all their time in Jira, doing team level kinds of activities. And then folks like RTEs, product managers, and folks above that level are going to be spending their time almost exclusively in Jira Align. So there's a division between the two.
Okay. Next question. If we don't use SAFe in its entirety, would we still be able to use Jira Align?
Yeah, Jira Align it's interesting. It has sort of a switch built in where you can select to use SAFe, or you can use less. You can, I forget what the other ones are. But the major agile scaling methodologies or frameworks, you can use any of those. Essentially, you do need to be doing agile. Now, whether you use SAFe or less or one of the others is fine, but you do need to be doing agile to get the value out of the tool.
Okay. I know that SAFe suggests having, in the order of, 10 feature per PI. Is that what you are seeing programs do?
So it's been interesting. I know SAFe actually in all of its training, it talks about you want to choose 10 or not too many, not too few, but right around 10 features. But what we're seeing is folks are actually more like 50, 35 to 50 different features that they're working on in a particular PI. I think the granularity of the feature is a little bit smaller than what the SAFe folks really think it should be, and so forth. But that's been the practice more than the 10 that we're seeing.
Okay. Well, Peter, that looks like the final question for today. If anybody thinks of anything, please feel free to reach out directly to Peter. His email is on the screen. It's peter@321gang.com. Don't forget to register for the third webinar in our series, and also feel free to email any questions to info@321gang.com. This webinar was recorded, and it can be shared with your colleagues. It will be posted on our website within a few days. And we thank you all for attending, and thank you, Peter, for presenting.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.